Hello everyone, today I wanted to share my favorite debut singles of all time with you. If you would like to skip right to my list, I will have a timestamp on the screen right here to where you guys can go to. And now on to a couple quick disclaimers. Number one, this is just my personal opinion. I would absolutely love to see your list down below in the comments. Just keep it respectful, please. Sorry for any background noise or dust particles that may occur throughout this video. I'm going to be reading off my phone as I always do. My list is in no particular order besides my number one pick. Everything that I reference and mention throughout the video will be linked down below in the description if you're curious. Lastly, if I have anything else that I forget to add, check down below. I might have a pinned comment. And let's get into it. At number 11, I'm going to have Cardboard Box by Flo. I think that this song is a banger. It's very refreshing to listen to. It's exactly what we needed at this time. Very catchy. And listening to the song, you can tell that they studied the legends who came before them vocally, and so that's something that I really appreciate. I think that the vocals here are impeccable. They all really get a chance to shine, and the harmonies on here are perfect as well. I love the songwriting on here, and I love the instrumentation as well. At number 10, I'm going to have Complicated by Avril Lavigne. So I think that she has a good vocal performance on here, and I love the production and the songwriting on here as well. According to Lavigne, the song is about being honest with oneself rather than putting on a face. And now on to number 9, which is going to be Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. I think that this is a very enjoyable track overall, very smooth. I really love his vocals on here. I think that they're stunning to listen to, and I can appreciate the songwriting and the instrumentation as well. About the song, it says, although it may seem so at first listen, Brown Sugar is not a love song about a dark-skinned woman. This track is an ode to marijuana, specifically the indica strain of the same name. This is done in the same personification style Rick James used for his 1978 classic, Mary Jane. At first, it sounded like intermission music, but then he started playing this chord progression, and I stopped and looked at him. Even he wasn't aware of what exactly he was playing. He just had his hands on the keyboard. When I asked him what he was playing, he said nothing. Next thing, D played bass on top of those chords and went over it with some lines. He said, hold up, can we sit with this for a second? Maybe another 15 minutes went by before he finally went into the booth and started doing the backgrounds. And that's how the title track Brown Sugar came to be. It was like, it was too good to be true because that song came out of 20 minutes and a mistake. You have to realize at the time, nothing else had that sound. Brown Sugar was the spawn of a new movement. That song has a different texture and feeling than everything else on that album. And now on to number 8, which is going to be Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. This song is very iconic and just excellent overall. I really love the production by Max Martin, and I can also appreciate his songwriting on the track as well, so definitely shout out to him there. And I really appreciate Britney's vocal on the track. I think that she sounds great. My favorite part is probably the bridge. I just think that it's really interesting to listen to there. And overall, this song has really stood the test of time. About the song, Britney says, I had been in the studio for about 6 months listening and recording material, but I hadn't really heard a hit yet. When I started working with Max Martin in Sweden, he played the demo for Baby One More Time for me, and I knew from the start it was one of those songs you want to hear again and again. It just felt really right. I went into the studio and did my own thing with it, trying to give it a little more attitude than a demo. In 10 days, I never even saw Sweden. We were so busy. And now on to number 7, which is going to be Sign of the Times by Harry Styles. So I think that this is an amazing song overall. He really showed what he was capable of here vocally. I think that his vocals are outstanding and very powerful on the track. I love the instrumentation. I think that it's sublime there, and I can really appreciate how this song progresses and how grandiose it gets in terms of that. I think that the songwriting on here is great as well, and this is just something that was different than what was expected of him to put out a 6-minute piano ballad. Who does it for their debut single? Harry Styles does. And so it's definitely something that just like really stands out and something that really hits you whenever you listen to it. So I can really appreciate that about it. And something else about the song is that I always thought that this song was good, right? But I didn't really appreciate it until like this year. Like this year, it really hit me and I was like, wow, this song is amazing. About the song, it says, the song is written from a point of view as if a mother was giving birth to a child and there's a complication. The mother is told the child is fine, but you're not going to make it. The mother has 5 minutes to tell the child, go forth and conquer. And now on to number 6, which is going to be Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. So I just think that this is a stellar track overall. His vocals are absolutely gorgeous on this thing. He was such a gifted singer. I just really loved his voice and his technique and what he was able to do with it. Very silky and smooth voice, and so it's just a treat to listen to his vocals on this track. And then I also really love how dynamic the instrumentation is, the bass, the guitar, guitar, just everything on this song was just perfect in terms of the instrumentation. I like the production on here. Shout out to Luther for the songwriting. He was a great songwriter. And this is just a beautiful song overall. And now on to number 5, which is going to be Crazy in Love by Beyonce featuring Jay-Z. Now, I know technically this was not her debut single. That was Work It Out from the Austin Powers soundtrack, but this is like her first proper single. Like, a lot of people associate this as her debut single. This is the lead single from her debut album. It's just so incredibly iconic, and so it just wouldn't feel right for me to make a video about my favorite debut songs and not include that in this video. So I can get why you guys are like, oh, why would you include it? And some of you guys might not consider it like really part of the list and whatever, but I really wanted to include it, and this is just an exception for the list that I just had to include before I really even get into it. So I just really love the energy that this song has. I think that it's something that just screams, I'm here to stay. It is something that is so triumphant, so glorious, and just so cool overall. It's just something that makes you want to get up and dance, and it's just aged so well over time. This is a signature song for a reason. Her vocals in here are absolutely insane to listen to. She really did what she had to do in the studio. She just ate on this song. I can appreciate Jay-Z's contribution to the track. He has a great verse, and I definitely think he adds something to the song as well. And so I also really appreciate the songwriting on here, and I also really appreciate the instrumentation as well. I think that it works nicely. And I know that the song has a sample on it, and it's going to be Are You My Woman, Tell Me So by the Shy Lights, so I can appreciate how that is incorporated. I think that adds so much to the song. Overall, the song is iconic and a hit that just keeps on giving. Whenever she performed this song, she went all in. Like, she just really did what she had to do on the performances. One of the best performers of all time, one of the best singers of all time, just a legend in her own right, and just a fitting way to start off her solo career, in my opinion. About the song, it says, before meeting Beyonce, Rich Harrison had conceptualized the beat of the song. He had sampled the hook's instrumentation from the 1970 song Are You My Woman, Tell Me So, which had originally been written and composed by Eugene Record, frontman of the Chicago-based vocal group The Shylettes. When Harrison first played the beat to his friends, they could not dig it, and this made him realize that he had conceived something special, which people would appreciate better after hearing the whole record. Thus, Harrison decided not to market the selection, and instead he waited for the right artist to record it. I had it in the chamber. I had not really shopped it much because sometimes you do not want to come out of the bag before it's right. People do not really get it, and you will leave them with a sour taste in their mouth. Harrison was pleasantly surprised when he got a call from Beyonce, who was working on one of the most anticipated albums of the year. However, things did not turn up according to his plans the following day, as he was late and was still suffering the effects of a hangover. When Harrison played the sample to Beyonce in the studio, the singer initially had doubts about the sound so full of blaring fanfare. It seemed too retro, and according to her, no one used horn riffs in the 21st century. Nevertheless, Beyonce accepted the sample, much to Harrison's delight, and gave him 2 hours to write and compose the song while she went out. Harrison confessed that it was not easy for him to come up with the lyrics to Crazy in Love in that length of time, but 2 hours later, he had written the verses and the hook in spite of being hungover. Harrison had also made provision for a backing track. He played all the instruments on the track. The bridge was written by Beyonce, who was inspired by looking at herself in the mirror, as she was not wearing matching clothes and her hair was untidy. She kept saying, "I'm looking so crazy right now." Harrison sang back to her and said, "That's the hook." It also inspired the title of the song. After that, Beyonce had filled up the middle 8. She came up with the catchphrase, you know, alongside Harrison. Featured artist Jay-Z became involved late in the song's production. Around 3 a.m., he came to the studio and recorded a rap verse, which he improvised in about 10 minutes. The recording of Crazy in Love took place nearly 3 months following the meeting of Beyonce with Harrison. And now on to number 4, which is going to be Do Up That Thing by Miss Lauryn Hill. I think that this song is spectacular overall. Her singing and her rapping are top-notch on this song, and so it's just really impeccable, very catchy, and I love the harmony and everything that is going on there as well. And so this song is just something that always makes me so happy to listen to, and I really appreciate it. About the song on Genius, it says, Lauryn Hill's breakout solo single from the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Do Up That Thing, hit #1 on the Billboard charts and netted Hill 2 Grammys for Best R&B Song and Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. In the song, Hill warns both men and women to avoid being exploited by the opposite sex for that thing. The song became the first debut song in Billboard history to debut at #1. Hill also became the first woman since Debbie Gibson to have a #1 song that she wrote, produced, and recorded on her own. The beat sample is a 1971 song, Together Let's Find Love by The Fifth Dimension. And now on to number 3, which is going to be Fallen by Alicia Keys. So I think that this song is superb overall. I really like how it starts off a cappella and then the instrumentation comes in. I just thought that that was a nice touch. I think that her vocals here are stunning, and I really love listening to them, and I can appreciate like the soul and grit that this song has in regards to that. I love the instrumentation and production, just so fitting and well performed all all across the track. I think that this song has a nice pocket as well, and I can appreciate her songwriting on here. She is a great songwriter. About the song, it says, I wanted to write a song for someone who was 10 or 12 years old, like a young Michael Jackson. Even though he was young, he was singing some deep stuff back then. The song is about the ins and outs of a relationship. Sometimes you're completely head over heels in love with someone, and sometimes you can't stand that person. You fall in and out. Sometimes it goes back and forth, and that's just what relationships are about. On how everyone told her the song would never work. It's kind of hard to forget the first one, especially with my first song, because that song was fallen. And because basically everybody told me that that song wouldn't work. It really signified that you can be who you are, that I can be who I am, says Keys. I don't have to follow anybody else to get to where I hope to go to, and to be able to be recognized, and to be able to be appreciated and loved, and for people to love what you do. You can just be you. And now on to number 2, which is going to be I Want to Be Down by Brandy. So I think that this song is fantastic overall. Her vocals in here are just really impressive to listen to, and she just really has a distinct style already, and so I really love the background parts. And then it gets even more impressive whenever you learn she was like 14 or 15 years old whenever she recorded this song, and she was already a very skilled vocalist back then, and so she's just grown so much and just one of the best singers of all time. So I just really love the textures of her voice and just everything that's going on in the song vocally. I think that the songwriting is great, it's super catchy, and I also really do love the production on the song. And it was really interesting to learn that she had to be convinced that this should be her debut single because she loved Best Friend so much, but I'm really glad that they were able to change her mind, because this is a song that really shows off her strengths well vocally, and something that really represents her catalog well, and something that has aged so well with time, and a signature song for her. And now on to my number 1 pick, which is going to be Vision of Love by Mariah Carey. If you've been watching my channel long enough, or if you've seen enough of my videos, you already knew that this song was going to be at number 1, because I talked about my love for this song so many times. You want to talk about a classic song, that's exactly what this is. It is a staple in her catalog for a reason, and it's one that I simply never get tired of listening to. I've listened to the song so many times, and I just always find myself going back to it, and this is probably one of my favorite songs in her entire discography, and one of my favorite songs on her debut album for sure, which is also very strong, by the way. I just think that this song is just immaculate on all fronts. With the song, she shows off what she's able to do vocally with impeccable technique there, and I also really love her musicality as well. And then you also have all the runs and the whistle notes and the melisma on the song as well, and she is often credited for popularizing melisma, and also this song was called the Magna Carta of melisma as well. And this song is just astonishing vocally. I really love the background vocals for this song as well, and my favorite part of the song is probably going to be the ending. I just really love what she is doing and just showing off there, and a lot of times whenever she performs a song live, you can see her like riffing off of it, and so it's just really interesting how creative she gets, and her musicality is out of this world. As I said before, I don't know anyone with better musicality than Mariah Carey has. It's just simply outstanding what she is able to do, and this song is something that really made people stop and take notice of what she was doing. And even she said she was kind of surprised by the success of the song because it didn't sound like anything that was out there already. And this song has inspired so many singers, including Beyonce. She said that Vision of Love is what made her want to sing, and she was so fascinated by what she was able to do in terms of fitting all like the riffs and runs in a couple of bars. And also Christina Aguilera said that she was like an instant fan whenever Vision of Love came out. And then you also have Kelly Clarkson as well, who said that Mariah has been someone who really inspired her to sing as well. And Mariah has just inspired so many singers, and Mariah Carey is probably your favorite singer's favorite singer. I think that the songwriting on this track is great. She does not get nearly enough credit for her capabilities as a songwriter. One of the best songwriters of all time for a reason. So many hits under her belt. And then also I really love the production on this song as well, and the instrumentation. And so some of my favorite performances of the song are going to be whenever she did it on SNL. I also really love BT Blueprint, of course. And then I think I also really love whenever she did it on Arsenio Hall, and then there's that one that she did in 2020. Overall, this is an unforgettable song from a legend, and she's proven herself over and over again, and has really built up an incredible catalog. So I saw this one interview that she did, and here's what she had to say about the song. It's about sort of everything that was happening in my life at the time. I wrote it when I had just signed my record deal with Columbia, and everything was going really well in my life, and it was a pretty amazing turning point, and that just inspired it. In terms of the lyrics, it says, the song's lyrics have been subject to various interpretations and suggested relationships by critics. Some have noted the relationship between Carey and God, while others point out one with a lover. Carey has yielded to both while connecting them to her childhood and to obstacles encountered while growing up. In an interview with Ebony in 1991, Carey spoke of the song's lyrics and success. Consider the lyric, prayed through the nights, felt so alone, suffered from alienation, carried the weight on my own, had to be strong, so I believed, and now I know I've succeeded. in finding the place I conceived. But just because you are young doesn't mean that you haven't had a hard life. It's been difficult for me, moving around so much, having to grow up by myself, basically on my own. My parents divorced, and I always felt kind of different from everyone else in my neighborhoods. I was a different person ethnically, and sometimes that can be a problem. If you look a certain way, everybody goes white girl, and I'd go, no, that's not what I am. Alright, so that is going to be it for my favorite debut singles of all time. I'm actually going to have a little recap on the screen right next to me, just going over everything. And now on to a couple honorable mentions. So I do have Royals by Lord written down. It's a great song, one that I've always really appreciated. And then I also have More Than a Feeling by Boston, impeccable vocal performance. I love how lively it is and the instrumentation on the track as well. I also have Novocaine by Frank Ocean written down, which is a song that I kind of just discovered recently, and I've really been loving it, especially his vocal performance and the production. And so I had Genie in a Bottle written down, and it was actually going to be included on my list until I looked it up and realized that it was technically not her debut single. Her debut single was actually Reflection from the Mulan movie. And you guys might be watching this video and you're like, okay, but why did you put Beyonce in the list if Crazy in Love technically wasn't her debut single and it actually was Work It Out? But like I said, I think Crazy in Love is too iconic of a song for me not to put it on the list, and I do love it. So that was the only song I was going to make an exception for on the list, but I still do love Genie in a Bottle, don't get me wrong. I think that the piano really draws you in. I really like the chord progressions all throughout the song. I really love Christina's vocal performance all the way throughout, decent, and so it's just a song I've always appreciated. Of course, I would love to know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? What is your list? Leave it down below. Let's continue the discussion in the comments. Also, I have made videos on some of these artists, so if you wanted to see more content on them, then I will have those linked down below in the description so you can check that out. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, give it a like down below. It helps me out a lot in YouTube algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You can subscribe right down below if you want to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get a notification to your phone when I post so you're not missing when new videos come out. First link down below in the description will be my second channel. I just posted a new video on there recently talking about what I would like on Taylor Swift's new album Midnights, and then I also talked about some thoughts on a potential Rihanna tour, Beyonce, Abbott Elementary, Grey's Anatomy, talked about the process of my videos as I always do. So if you want further insight into my creative process, how I come up with videos, all that stuff, I always talk about that on my second channel and more. So if you want to see more of me, definitely check me out on there. Again, it's the first link down below in the description. I'm also going to have my Twitter, my Instagram, and Spotify if you'd like to follow me, as well as links to educate you guys on important situations. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.